Strawberries. Few crops elicit more pure joy than these red globes of deliciousness.
And rightly so. Summertime is strawberry time. But only if you actually get the fruit.
While these guys are known as a low-maintenance crop, many people go without because they miss a few key parameters directly affecting their harvests.
Today, I picked out 4 main things that control the majority of strawberry production. 4 key needs that'll explode your berry harvests every summer. I mean, look at this.
Strawberries, for the most part, are a perennial plant. Officially described as a woodland herbaceous perennial that grows throughout the northern hemisphere.
The kind we eat, even if we grow them ourselves, all come from hybrid plants.
Specifically, a variety from North America, Fragaria virginiana, crossed with Fragaria chiloensis, a wild type from Chile. As such, most new strawberry plants, either bought at the store or ones that you make yourself at home, are produced vegetatively. Either by runners or crown divisions, this is to ensure you get the variety that you're after. Growing from seed is possible, but it can take a long time.
And most likely won't result in any fruit the first year, which brings us to our first key, and that's age.
If you're buying strawberry plants to grow for the first time in the late winter or early spring, quite likely you're purchasing ones that are already a year old.
This is good because quite likely in the first year, these guys are going to give you flowers and fruit.
Now, some people say to cut off the flowers and fruit the first year to make bigger and stronger plants, but if you're already starting with 1-year-old plants, don't do that. Nothing's guaranteed. Enjoy that berry bounty right away.
Honestly, we want to maximize any of those harvests we can get because once strawberry plants start producing, they're on a countdown.
As a clumping perennial, strawberry mother plants grow and divide out from their base, often called the crown. And by doing this, well, they can often crowd themselves out.
This is why any given strawberry patch, or in this case container, has this arbitrary 5-ish year lifespan, with years 3 and 4 being the best producing.
After a certain age, less if they're growing in a small pot or planter, the strawberry plants just stop producing, and they need to be broken up, restarted, and replanted again. And so begins the next cycle. Even though they are considered perennial crops, it's just this cyclical thing that we have to do with strawberries. So, depending on your strawberry plant's age, young or old, this could really affect the harvest that you're seeing.
The second key factor that affects strawberry growth and strawberry harvest is where you decide to grow them.
With a shallow root system and a low crawling growth habit, you'd probably think that strawberries could be planted anywhere in virtually anything.
For the most part, that is true. However, since we are talking max harvest, strawberry plants definitely do have some preferences.
Like most of the plants we grow, they'll do better with more sun. In fact, strawberries are considered a full sun crop, requiring at least 6+ hours a day of full direct sunlight. Now, they are a cool climate specialist, so if you live in a really warm area, a really hot climate, you're probably going to have to give your strawberry plants more shade than normal. At some point though, for those really tropical areas, you have to decide if strawberries are the right crop. Yes, they're low maintenance, but they're not bulletproof.
One other issue to consider with location and where you grow your strawberries is drainage. Not so much of a problem in pots and containers, but in raised beds and most certainly in the ground, it's a big deal.
Standing water at any time of the year in any part of the strawberry's life cycle will not be tolerated. Yes, strawberries love to be moist at all times, but never soggy and never saturated. There's a difference. If a soil is too wet for too long, it'll simply rot these guys out, and it does it pretty quickly.
Like we said though, in pots and containers, that's rarely an issue. One thing though, when you're growing strawberries contained, especially in those small spaces, I do suggest at least 6 inches of soil depth. Anything less than that, and you're probably going to compromise the harvests.
For sure, you'll see strawberries growing in the tightest of quarters, things like herb planters and even gutter systems. But again, here we're talking about maximizing the harvests. And to do that, we have to give our strawberry mother plants the room and the soil to grow.
Speaking of soil, that's our third key to guaranteeing strawberries.
Strawberries aren't picky and they'll grow in just about anything, but again, to get them to look and perform their best, they need a loose, rich, well-drained soil that's high in organic matter and retains moisture. Neutral pH to slightly acidic is preferred, but again, that drainage and that moisture retention is the key here. If you're having a problem keeping your strawberry plants hydrated, it's quite likely that your organic content in your soil is too low. Conversely, if you find that your patch is always a bit too soggy, you can add in some sand to facilitate that drainage. Play around with it until you get it right, because quite honestly, good soil with strawberries is non-negotiable.
Also non-negotiable is when you're planting your strawberries up, you can't plant them too deep.
Like we mentioned previously, these guys have a defined crown, and that crown needs to stay above the soil surface at all times. It's not too hard though. Whenever you're planting up strawberry starters, either store-bought or ones that you made at home, simply plant them to the existing depth that they're already at. Quite likely, that's exactly where they need to be.
Which brings us to our last and fourth key for getting guaranteed strawberries every year, and that's nutrients.
Starting with a good, rich, compost-amended soil mix though is a huge benefit for this crop, and it's going to make growing strawberries much easier.
Beyond that though, as far as supplemental nutrients and when and how much to fertilize, that depends on what type of strawberry plants you're growing.
All strawberry varieties are divided into two basic types, June-bearing and ever-bearing. June-bearing strawberries produce all of their fruit at once, usually early to mid-summer. As a consequence, these guys are only fed once per year, and it's after they produce all that fruit. Feed your June-bearing types of strawberries at the end of summer, even into early fall. For the ever-bearing types, they also get that late summer, early fall feeding, but because they're always producing strawberries, weather permitting, they also get fed in the early spring. So, to keep it simple, if you're at all confused, June-bearing strawberries get fed after they fruit, ever-bearing before and after. For the actual fertilizer, we always try to go with a balanced NPK, never skewing too high in any one of those macros. Liquid seaweed or kelp blends work amazing for this.
Aside from mulching and making sure to water in the morning on those really hot days, that's pretty much it with strawberries. Basic, straightforward stuff, yes, but a lot. So much so, let's recap those main points.
Strawberries are a great low-maintenance crop that come back bigger and better every year.
Hopefully these 4 tips for guaranteed strawberry success do just that, and you're in for your biggest and best strawberry season ever. Hey, as always, happy growing, guys, and I'll see you soon. Oh, yeah.